Chapter 1. The Final Confrontation. London was breaking apart. Not in a way that could be seen with the naked eye, not like shattered buildings or crumbling streets, but in a way far more terrifying. Time itself was collapsing. The Morlocks knew this was their last chance. Their presence in 1900 had been unstable, fragile, a careful manipulation of history. But now, with Nemo's knowledge, with the Stargate's awakening, they had one final move to ensure their rule over time was absolute. They would rewrite history permanently, the moment reality fractures. Holmes and Watson raced through the warped streets, watching as entire moments disappeared before their eyes. A woman who had been walking toward them vanished mid-step. A carriage flickered, shifting between wooden wheels and futuristic hover engines, as if time could not decide where it belonged. Watson gasped. "Holmes, this is worse than before!" Holmes narrowed his gaze. The Morlocks have abandoned subtlety. They are no longer adjusting history. They are tearing it apart. And then, the final wave hit. The sky split open in a violent rip of time. And within its depths, the Morlocks emerged, their forms towering, their movements unnatural, their eyes gleaming with the knowledge of countless stolen centuries. They had already won. Unless someone stopped them, the gods strike back. From the fractured edges of reality, Hermes arrived, his form flickering between past and future, his presence a force that no mortal could comprehend. Then, beside him, Athena, Kronos, Hecate, Apollo. They had come to end this war. Time trembled. The Morlocks lunged, their twisted bodies moving in ways that defied logic, grasping at time itself, weaving the past into their own design. Kronos countered, pulling the threads of history away from their grasp. Apollo brought light, forcing their shadows to retreat. Athena calculated, striking where their influence was weakest. But the Morlocks had one last advantage. They had Nemo. And Nemo had seen the future. Cliffhanger, the final move. Nemo stepped forward, standing at the edge of the battlefield. He knew what was coming next. And he had already chosen his side. Chapter 2. The Reset of History. Time was unraveling. The Morlocks had fought fiercely, twisting the past into a shape never meant to exist, forcing reality to accept their presence. But Holmes, Watson, Wells, and the gods had one final chance to restore history. The secret lies in the Stargate. Nemo had spent years studying Atlantis, deciphering its markings, unlocking its secrets. The Stargate had shown him visions of what was to come, but now Wells understood something Nemo had never considered. "The gate does not merely reveal time," Wells said, his voice sharp with realization. "It is a key to the timeline itself." Holmes caught on instantly. And if it can unlock time's flow, it can lock it again. Nemo's expression shifted. He had never thought of this possibility. The plan to erase the Morlocks' arrival. Wells turned to Kronos. If the Morlocks are removed from 1900 before they ever arrived, before they ever stepped through time, then history will reset itself to the way it was meant to be. Kronos hesitated. Even for a god, erasing an event before it ever happened was dangerous. Time resisted such corrections. It did not like being rewritten. Apollo narrowed his gaze. "If we undo their arrival, we risk wiping all knowledge of this battle from existence." Watson swallowed. "You mean, we won't even remember that any of this ever happened?" Holmes considered this carefully. "Then we must ensure one thing remains, a record hidden within time itself." The execution of the reset. As the battle raged, Kronos called upon the power of the gods, the Stargate opened, and time began to bend. Wells and Holmes worked together, aligning Atlantis' inscriptions with the fabric of history. The Morlocks screamed, sensing time pulling them backward, erasing their presence before they had ever set foot in London. Reality shuddered. The streets stabilized. The sky cleared. And in a single, final pulse of energy, the Morlocks were erased from history. Cliffhanger, the last ripple. Everything fell silent. Holmes looked around. London was normal again. Watson breathed out, steadying himself. The war had never happened, but Nemo remained. And within Atlantis, the Stargate still pulsed, one final mystery waiting in the depths. Chapter 3. Nemo's Last Move. The Morlocks were gone. History had been rewritten. London had returned to its proper place in time, and the battle was now nothing more than an echo, a war that had never technically happened. But Nemo remained. He stood before the Stargate, watching its shifting energy pulse through the ruins of Atlantis, listening to the hum of time waiting for its next step. The choice that could change everything. Holmes, Watson, and Wells approached cautiously. The gods watched in silence. "Everything has been corrected," Wells said. "History stands as it should. The Morlocks will never set foot in the past again." Nemo's gaze lingered on the glowing inscriptions circling the Stargate. "Yes, the Morlocks are gone, but the war for time is not over." Holmes narrowed his gaze. "You still believe something worse is coming?" Nemo exhaled, his mind wrestling with a truth none of them could see yet. He had seen the visions, the fragments of what lay beyond history. The Morlocks were never meant to be the final enemy. Their rise had only been a warning, a glimpse of something far older, far more dangerous lurking in the depths of time. And now, Nemo had a choice. Does he alter history himself? The Stargate still pulsed. It was still open, still waiting, still capable of rewriting history once more. If Nemo chose to step through, he could reshape time as he saw fit. He could prepare the world for the darkness yet to come. He could warn future generations, build defenses against an enemy no one else could yet comprehend. Or he could let history stand. He could leave Atlantis behind, close the gate forever, trust that time would correct itself, that humanity would survive the coming storm without his interference. The moment of decision. Wells stepped forward. "Nemo, whatever you do next will shape the future forever. You must choose wisely." Nemo looked at the gate one last time. The hum grew louder, the glow intensified. And then he moved. Cliffhanger. Atlantis's final mystery. A pulse of energy erupted from the gate. Holmes shielded his eyes. Watson stumbled. Wells watched in silence. And then Atlantis itself began to tremble. Something was awakening beneath its ruins. Something far older than the Morlocks. Something waiting for the right moment to rise. Chapter 4. Atlantis's final mystery. The ruins trembled. Atlantis, long hidden beneath the ocean's depths, was stirring. The pulse of the Stargate had vanished, its glow fading, but something else had awakened, something older than time itself. Holmes, Watson, Wells, and the gods watched in silence, the weight of history pressing upon them. And then, Nemo stepped forward. The secret beneath Atlantis. Beneath the ancient stone, beneath the remnants of a civilization lost to the waves, there was another layer. A chamber, untouched by time. A warning, etched into its walls, not in Greek, not in Latin, not in any language known to mankind. It was a message, a prophecy. Time is but a threshold. Beyond it waits the first ones. Nemo's eyes darkened. He had suspected it, he had feared it. And now he knew the truth. The Morlocks were merely a shadow of the past. But what waited beyond Atlantis was the true enemy of time itself. The final ripple. As Holmes adjusted his coat, as Watson steadied himself, as Wells traced the markings with wide eyes, the ocean shifted. The gods felt it first. A distortion, a whisper in the currents, as if something had just looked back at them from the depths of history. Nemo turned away from the Stargate, his expression unreadable. "History is restored," he said, "but time has only just begun to reveal its secrets." And deep beneath Atlantis, where no mortal could see, something moved, waiting, watching, preparing. Cliffhanger, the echo of time. The Nautilus drifted away, carrying its captain and his secrets into the endless sea. London remained unchanged. The Morlocks were forgotten. But time never forgets. And what lurked beyond Atlantis was waiting for its moment to rise.